Amanda. Workers' rights is
human rights.
And is that
we are counting the demise of Trinidad and Tobago in hundreds of murders a year. We are listening to bullshit artists tell us stand your ground. You want to stand your ground for mango thief but lying down with billion-dollar thief? And want to fool people with stand your ground? You want to stand your ground with a commissioner of police that know how to call little black children cockroach, but he can't go after the contract mafia? He can't go inside the Chamber of Commerce boardroom and find those who are facilitating the importation of narcotics and contraband into this country? When you see those same little cockroach with AR-15 and M16, they can't even afford that. That gun worth more than the house they're living in. Who putting that gun in their hand? Who going to America where the gun coming from and paying the money? Kid Rowley, you want to go to America? You want to tell them you want them to stop sending gun to Trinidad? America not sending gun to Trinidad for free. The military-industrial complex in America is second only to global pharmaceutical companies. And the military-industrial complex not making AR-15 and Glock and M16 to send for Trinidad for free. You're not getting that in Cracker Jack box, brother. Kid Rowley, the people who financing you and the PNM and the UNC are the people who are bringing those guns and the drugs into Trinidad and Tobago, killing them same little children. All you want to stand on your ground talking about. So I telling you all today, miss me with your bullshit.
My name is Wenderson Jeffrey. And this is the Workers' Rights Platform. Now, you would have heard Phillip Edward Alexander talking. You would have heard this whole crime summit thing with the UNC. You would have heard the response of Gary Griffith. And from in the months back then, if you could have recalled, you would have heard the bantering between Phillip and Gary Griffith. Now, any logical thinking person, because many of you that reach out to me on a daily basis and we does have conversation and brainstorm concerning certain things that taking place within the public domain, or I can tell that something is wrong. And what you are seeing here is two men that is leveraging the information that they have within their possession. Who am I speaking about? Because I'm being plain. The subject that is in question here is what is behind this banter between Phillip Edward Alexander and Gary Griffith. Now, before we go into this intricate piece of story and try to dissect it and break it down into parts, first we must examine the relationship between the two gentlemen and understand their ideology and background within crime fighting, within Trinidad and Tobago. We must try to understand the history behind these men and them to see where it is they're projecting and where there was and where they are aiming to be and where their intention lies between here and there. Gary Griffith, everybody knows his history. He would have boasted of being having a military background, in which the records could prove. This man would have worked in the Ministry of National Security, and he would have had that type of knowledge and background and insights concerning matters of national security in Trinidad and Tobago. So what it is that Gary Griffith knows so much that the rest of the population do not know. And why is this thing between the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, that this thing with the FUL and bringing out certain information within the public domain, and why certain things cannot be said? What it is Phillip Edward Alexander know that he's not telling the public. And I come here today underneath this workers' rights banner. I ain't come here looking for no friend, because many of you know that yes, I was in the party. And I go leave that comment right there. I go leave that comment right there. Yes, I go leave that comment there. Whatever you decide to do with that, that is your problem. But the thing about it is this: anyone that knows me knows I is a type of person that has come straight at you anytime I have a problem. I come and I ask you. And you must know that this thing here, the public wants to know. What is this thing here in national security that the rest of the public do not know? What it is. Now let me go into the intricate background of Phillip Edward Alexander. A simple Google search. A simple Google search. One, we know he's a Syrian. But in this Google search, it would have described him to be a hacker. Now I'm certain. Now the thing about it is that he and Gary Griffith would have worked together when Gary Griffith was the Commissioner of Police. These are gentlemen that know one another. These are gentlemen that know one another background. So what is this banter all about? And what we are going to do is get Phillip Edward Alexander and Gary Griffith here on an interview on which we could talk about matters of security and what it is. Because the public saying, hey, Gary Griffith is just being an opportunist. That is what you saying, the public. And what the public is saying about Phillip Edward Alexander is that he vex. Everything is a bacchanal talk and a nonsense talk. People want to hear the facts. It's like we reached the edge of a cliff and we can't go further. And it's about high time politics in Trinidad and Tobago take a different spin. And this type of political gymnastics that people are playing, and when people are dying in Trinidad and Tobago, and there are people that know the solutions and are holding the solution in hypocrisy, because many of you that understand the socio-economics of any society, anyway, as I say, a simple Google search can bring you to the result. Over the past years, underneath this PNM regime, works have been stifled, and only certain people would have gotten certain contracts. And some of them hoping that it trickle down from the top to the bottom. And that have not been happening. So the people at Trinidad and Tobago, including myself, would have sunk below the poverty line. Many of us Many of you cannot afford the lifestyle that you have been having in the past 10 years. And we're trying to understand why. But the answer is right in front of our faces. And we are seeing two men, Gary Griffith, Phillip Edward Alexander, that have background knowledge because they would have been exposed to certain things, holding certain offices in Trinidad. And you, the members of the public, they are playing with words within the public domain as if that could suffice a crime situation. And I could tell you something too. Fitzgerald Hines are also exposed to something like this. Keith Rowley know too. So what it is, these four men know that the rest of Trinidad and Tobago don't know, and they are not willing to receive. Gentlemen, without further ado, I wonder if it's a Lego this onslaught. I want to know if it's to open the line and let us guess have his say. Because at this point in time, somebody willing to talk. And this guess, or you wouldn't like what this person had to say. Right now online, I have a senior man. That know what these people are hiding. I wonder what to do, boy. I wonder what to do, because this thing here, many of you are going to be shocked. I wonder if it's to turn it loose. Just so. Right. We are back. We ain't gonna let that cat out of the bag so early yet. But what we are going to do here is play back some of the clippings from throughout the tenure of Gary Griffith and Phillip Edward Alexander. And we are going to reach out to these two men first. And then we are going to drop this bombshell. We are going to drop the bombshell that will frighten some of you. Or just watch movies on TV and not understand the subliminal messages behind this. The type of manipulation and the kill squad. That is as much as I could say. So without further ado, we are going to go back into the tape here with Phillip Edward Alexander. We are going to go back here into some speeches from Gary Griffith. And you, the members of the public, you decide as to where you are going from here with this. My name is Redison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. Like, share, and subscribe. And you see many of you of our supporters, many of you that reach out to us on a daily basis, that listen to our programming. God bless you and thank you. And with that, we are out.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed by our guests on Workers' Rights 868 broadcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of our program or its hosts. We do not endorse or take responsibility for the accuracy, completeness,
or reliability of any information, statement, or advice shared by our guests. Listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research and seek professional advice before making any decisions based on the information provided during our program. Workers' Rights 868 broadcast is not liable for any loss or damage that may arise from the use of or reliance on the information presented during our program.
I'll tell you why I'm sticking on this Griffith boy like this. You see, he was a former Minister of National Security and he was a former Commissioner of Police. When a Commissioner of Police says that the opposition leader, he named people. He said Monilal and senior members of the UNC. He said Kamla to the JSC, to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament. That is the highest court in the land. When you could tell the highest court in the land that the opposition is trying to destabilize the country using the gangs that he now calling terrorists, he doesn't get to walk that back. He has to explain. He has to tell people if he was lying. And if he was lying when he said that, then you cannot trust a man who under oath, who holds a high office in the country, would lie to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament. Understand what I am saying? When Keith Rowley appointed Gary as commissioner, I am the only person who asked, did Rowley retract the allegation, not even the allegation, the accusation that he made inside the parliament where he said Griffith and Kamla and Monilal and others, Suraj Rambachan and others, conspired to do all manner of things as email gate, but one of the things was to murder Denise Wren. You accuse all these people under parliamentary privilege of conspiring to murder a journalist over Section 34. And you never took it back. And you, Keith Rowley, appointed one of the accused as Commissioner of Police. And you know what Gary Griffith said to me? And I have all of the, he cost me stink. Monilal Pena, you're in bed with the UNC, you're trying to block me, you want to block me, you never support me. All this bullshit I had to take for asking of two high officers in the land, the Prime Minister, who appointed a Commissioner of Police, and I asked then, did he retract? So Griffith ran as Commissioner, and he and Rowley followed. Now, over the course of his commissioner years, Stephen Rees had to go and film a big wedding that Stephen called a Syrian wedding in Sinclair. That was okay according to that Commissioner of Police. But when people had a party in a house in Chancellor Hill, they went and locked everybody up because of COVID. And what was the difference? He couldn't say. And when they went and locked up these little children from Cocorite outside Bayside Towers for going by the sea, they could have justified that, but they couldn't explain why a week later Bayside Towers had a fete by the pool, and the same police that went and make these little children crawl on their belly couldn't go in Bayside, and it didn't make sense to nobody. Ask Gary about all of these inconsistencies. Nowhere in the world you would ever have a Commissioner of Police be appointed while he is accused of being a co-conspirator to murder and have the authority to close the case on himself and crack a joke and say, I could get back my phone now. Go and ask Gary Griffith about Anand Ram Logan. Put Gary Griffith and Anand Ram Logan in the same room, because Anand Ram Logan cannot be Kamla's Attorney General. Ask Gary and Anand. Put Gary and Anil Roberts. I want to see the two of them hug up. I want to see the length
the depth of the hypocrisy, because live sport, Hoop of Life, and Color Me Orange was gang funding. Remember that? And especially live sport. Gary went for him, pulled him down, get Anil fired, Anil ended up in the backbench. Oh, you remember that? Because live sport was funding criminals and gangs. Remember that? Put the two of them, Anil, Douglas politics, and Gary in the same room. I want to see that. Because if the two of them could hug up, that means Gary is a liar for hire. And that is a dangerous man. Dangerous, dangerous man. But you see, when you're a minister of national security or you're a commissioner of police, it's a different thing. I had to share two pictures side by side. Munilal and Griffith having a press conference Sunday morning saying that Rowley's $100 million going to the gangs. And side by side with it, have a picture of Munilal and other members of the UNC with Griffith saying Munilal funding the gangs. So which is it, Gary? Which is the truth? Or are you just lying for whatever suits your agenda? For whatever suits your agenda? For whatever suits your agenda? So which is it, Gary?
Hello, good morning, everybody. It definitely have to be done and have to be said. It has some things going on in our country. All we need to address it and we need to change it as a people, as a one people. What's going on right now? Well, you remember plenty of my videos had all kind of 30,000 views, 40,000 views and stuff of that nature. I telling you one time, when I spoke out for Trinidad and Tobago, I speak out because I'm a patriot. Now, with that being said, let me start from one organization. Let me talk about Ministry of Transport. Do you all know that it has two families? And one of them aren't originally from Trinidad and Tobago. The next one isn't also, but the next one is based here from since in the 50s and 60s. We're talking about certain Syrian families that have never, ever, ever came to licensing office in any format. Other than that also, let me talk about the early 2000s. It have Chinese nationals that have never set foot in licensing office and can't even speak English. Or they understand it or pretend that they don't. And they've never come to licensing office either. The reason I'm highlighting this because you see this is what's going on right here now. Something NCW highlighted recently. Do you know that all these officers who issuing tickets, we're talking about normal officers, we're not talking traffic wardens or traffic officers. When they're issuing tickets and they're getting $250 a ticket, and furthermore when these individuals come corporals, what knowledge of crime do they have? Or they just have knowledge of finance? Tell me if that isn't fucking bullshit to the fullest. Furthermore, what's going on right now? It had something else somebody highlighted also. Remember that jackass who does be on TV every day from 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock? He found a cache of guns and stuff. But they said with intricate, I repeat, with intricate observation, aka stakeout for months, how come you arrest nobody at all? And the thing about it, people in Santa Cruz many a times talk about you with your bullshit here on. Brother, you worried about somebody that's in Miami that brandishing a weapon when the United States, the Second Amendment is what? I'm not hearing you, jackass. I'm really not hearing you. And most of the nation are hearing you because they used to work in Cuba with your brother. You want me to go further with this? You're a permanent jackass, and furthermore you embarrassed the Baptist faith the last time when you were suspended. Remember when you denied your brother-in-law? You're permanently being a jackass. Let you go into that third thing now. Mercy in all formats is still Christian Mute. Remember Christian Mute was the man that made staff members from, let me say, Subway, KFC, all those other conglomerates that people eat from, get suspended if they didn't take the vaccination. I want you to realize something. They get hacked twice. And furthermore, when Miss Potter highlighted that you're all training staff in necromancy, why all they suspended her? Is it because of the amount of cost that the public found out that all they're spending on the necromancy? Or is that the mere fact that all they like to talk to the dead?
And this is somehow a supporting factor in your success. Yo, these 3 things are highlighted. Other than that also, it has a female officer from Diego Martin. I don't know what's going on with you, but it would seem like you like other people cheering. And I need to say that openly. Now Lisa, the head of the children's division, I want you to look into that officer very well. Because let me just say, things not looking good enough. Things really not looking good. And I'm very well hating the situation of Mr. David West, ignoring situations until somebody dies, when you actually gain information about how disgusting officers are presently. It's still 2023, it's still about 48 hours into it. The officer who murdered the siblings in courts for the matter of profits. Maybe that's the reason 14 comes so much in the past few days. And then furthermore, tell me how them guys and them get a police vehicle and had police uniforms who kidnapped the lady. And last but not least, let me talk about the ministers. They don't care about fucking crime. Real talk. Real motherfucking talk. That bald-head cackahole only cares about money. Think I'm lying? One major construction company. Then furthermore selling houses. Then furthermore renting about 7 properties. Then furthermore the hardware. It's not a secret anymore. And you're talking about horn like it's a game and stuff. And then what's going on with the nation? Let me go to something that's going on in Texas that really fucking affecting us in Trinidad and Tobago right now. All these guns, all these nice ladies who are concubines to government ministers. We're talking about government ministers on both sides. How you feeling, boy? How you really feeling, Mr. Cacao? You feeling good? In the United States, they always say this about V8s. There's no replacement for displacement. But you ever realize that evolution could beat a Mustang easily? So in other words, the man who is the shortest piece of evil in the government right now, because NIB seems to be his baby, and he really fucking up a lot. He has a yacht, he has these expensive cars, he also laughs at the public when he gets chance to. No problem at all, he's gonna tax us to death, but it's fucking biblical out. You're a buck, you're a piece of shit. On many occasions your picture showed up in the Express and the Guardian, let me say the dailies, to not get anybody in trouble anymore. Because definitely, I know for a motherfucking fact you victimized me. And that's why the situation I'm in right now. But we will get to that in another video. You don't fucking care about the nation. Mr. Rowley, Mr. Mute, or Mr. Imbert. You all don't fucking care. And remember, FULs was a business for the former police commissioner. And remember who his friend is. Mr. Young. Remember when he said his officers wasn't taking money from the Susu? And it was his officers, and he had the blame game going on with 3 different departments of national security. Trinidad and Tobago, please open all your eyes. And remember, if you're speaking out, have something as your background. Because trust me, victimization is real. David West, start caring about people and not the fucking officers who just get money for issuing tickets. Yeah, what I'm telling you? Because trust me, you see the pedophiles, aka the fuckers who just plan shit on people also. There's a big gap of officers doing that shit for a long time. And somehow they're not fucking getting charged, but they're bullying little girls and putting men in incarceration for years. Anyway, how about...
Hello Trinidad and Tobago, my name is Dwayne Romani. I'm a prisoner of the state since 2008. I have been allocated to this Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center, Pinto Road South, Santa Rosa, Rima, since the 17th of June 2022 by the Commissioner of Prison, Mr. Diopasado Amota. He claims that I have been making unlawful communications with the police, with the state, without his permission. This is why I've been brought here, to prevent me from getting phones, still accessing phones, because there's corruption in the system. Officers bringing phones in the jail, officers bringing weed in the jail, there is part of the drug trade, there is part of the illicit acts that stemming from jail and in jail. I am joining the state in the fight against crime. I help the state fight crimes being committed in and from jail. It's called the police, it's called the Ministry of National Security if I have to. If I see a threat lurking, that is a threat to any civilian out there, anybody, I step in. They have me under separation because they're trying to put this dark cloud over my life. You know, that officers are reporting back to prisoners and carrying information. But the reason why I'm here is because the commissioner don't want me to report the things that I see on the ground. Drug trafficking, the murders, the shots, witness intimidation. I against these things. I from Parliament, I never involve myself in no crime. I end up in jail because I get in a fight with a man in 2008, pull a knife from me, and he and I end up in a scuffle. He end up succumbing to his wounds, and this is why I'm in prison right now. I don't do crime. I just a seasoned man. I just singer, songwriter, a clothing designer. As everybody will get to realize soon come, right? But the reason why I'm making this video is to let you know this ECRC prison is a hellhole. It have nothing going on here. You hear the name of the building? Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. There's not a single rehabilitation program going on here. It is a prisoner's right to see their chaplain. No church services for prisoners. They're restricting men from airing, they're restricting men from any kind of recreational program to make a man a better man. There's lick shine here. Recently they come and they beat up men. They send out they are kind of task force team, mass men with gun. They come and they're beating up prisoners, they're advantaging prisoners of the state. And I'm making this video to get the police involved, to get the Minister of National Security involved, the media involved. Let the public know what's going on. I have a lot of information that I want to pass out earlier, to let you know what's going on in the system. Cigarettes selling for $100 for one in the jail. You understand? A small weed bag like a matchstick head selling for $50 in the jail. Men, prisoners making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're using the money to buy arms and ammunition and to fuel the criminal activities in the fuel out there. This is what's going on. And I'm a patriot. I see myself as a patriot. Even though I'm in prison, I stand against criminal activities. I love my country. I love my people. And once you're doing the right thing and people trying to interfere with you, I will stand against those persons. Try my best because what you want me to do? Be in jail and be a criminal? Be part of the problem? I'm not part of the problem. So I hear this morning, they have me in this building here, good over a year now. No rehab, all my constitutional rights have been stripped from me. And I'm making this video to let you know, you see how when the government closed, I was a convicted prisoner. No school, no church, no rehabilitation, no kind of recreation. Suppressing my life because they're trying to kill me in jail. Right? Because they find that I causing officers to get locked up or I interfering with the drug business. So I'm making this video, right? I write out some things here that I wanted to know, right? This is a disclosure of the valid complaints being brought against Mr. Diopasado Amuta, the Acting Commissioner of Prisons, Prison Programs Executive, and the administrative staff at ECRT Prison. This is the explanation of their deliberate and malicious breaches of my constitutional and human rights as a convicted inmate. And I seek compensation and strict disciplinary action against all culpable parties. 1. Without a legitimate or actual charge being preferred against me, I am being maliciously and unfairly kept isolated on an established COVID-19 quarantine station and division at the said ECRC prison excessively over the regulated period all other prison inmates are kept, being 14 days, at an undue health jeopardizing exposure. This is cause for mental distress and trauma and a brazen threat to my life as a complainant. 2. Being unfairly and maliciously refused the right to access all state-provided prisoner rehabilitation programs at the said prison, which is something that the state encourages prisoner rehabilitation and which the courts of justice use as a gauge of assessment in consideration of a prisoner's pre-release. This action by the accused agents of the state is grossly unfair to any detained person and a brazen interference to the court assessment of a prisoner. This is hindrance of requisite prisoner rehabilitation and provision of justice. My equal opportunity has been denied. 3. Being unfairly and maliciously kept in strict solitary confinement without warrant at the debated prison at a mental strain and pressuring into depression. Severe trauma caused by this abuse of authority. The Oxford Dictionary states that solitary confinement is the isolating of a prisoner in a separate cell as a form of punishment. Psychiatric evaluation was done on me on January the 18th this year at MSP by senior Dr. Dominic Nokolo, and recommendations in respect to my recreation was made, which has been ignored by the prison up to this time. 4. No form of mental strain alleviation provided for me specifically and maliciously at the depleted prison during my extensive time here. No television, no radio, no library books, no newspapers, no board games, no nothing. 5. Being blatantly and spitefully refused the regulated diet for all inmates in amount and weight. No fruits. Imagine no fruits provided in this building since I come here last year. Right? The dietitian's regulated guidelines for prisoners' diet are being stubbornly ignored by the accused parties. 6. Being spitefully denied access to all religious programs for inmates, as is my right to access a chaplain, and at a gross violation of my religious rights as a detained believer in the Christian doctrine. My not being allowed to fellowship with common believers, as is usual in the Christian faith, and which frequently occur in the state's prison. This is sacrilegious treatment. 7. Maliciously not being allowed to write letters to the state, my family, or anyone.
Settle our differences, come together and work with one another, because crime is a business in Trinidad and Tobago. Because every time you, black brother, get arrested, whether you are Muslim or Rasta, the Syrians make $40 million a year just to take you back and forth between the court and the prison. Every time they delay your case, the Syrians make more money in transportation to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars every single day. When your cases get delayed, the Indian lawyers get paid more, so they become richer, while the Chinese, who own some of the supermarkets along with some of the Trinidad whites, supply the prisons with some of the items that they need in order to operate. So we just getting arrested. We just going to jail. Dr. Darius Figueres said there's not one top-level African drug lord in Trinidad and Tobago. They are all either white, Chinese, Indian, or Syrian, but almost 100% of people within the prison population who were there for drug offenses are Africans. Imagine that. Mainly Indian businessmen bringing in all the compressed marijuana with the chemicalized heroin in it. None of them going to jail. Only African youths going to jail. But the African youths who are in jail fighting each other. How stupid can you possibly be to fall into those kinds of traps, see the truth of it, and still sink yourself even deeper into those kinds of traps? Wake up, black people.
Yes, I'm going to plead to all my African brothers. Brothers, let me stop killing out each other now, boy. All they see what going on now. We just killing out each other, boy. We fighting for turf and fighting for block, boy. Let me stop killing out each other. Right? Everybody want to be the NHIC. Nobody in that time to reason. Why we can't reason out the differences? Why we have to be killing out each other? Look when you go down there, all them Indians selling double second, everybody there opening business. Right? You go Shana Street, all the Chinese business there, Chinese restaurant next to each other, grocery next to each other, everybody making money. Right? You go in the Bamboo, all of them businessmen selling car parts. And if you go buy Bobby's on your gate, he send you buy Bix. Right? 20 years ago, they didn't have no gyro man here. And you go on the crossing south, all them gyro man next to each other, selling gyro. I ain't having no bacchanal. What's going on with me, boy? We living right next to each other, one street away. We go in the same primary school. We children go in the same school. And we just killing out each other, boy. So nobody can sit down and reason out, boy. Reason out things and we stop killing out each other, boy. We just creating problems. Because every Monday morning, I start children by social welfare for public assistance. Every Monday morning, I fresh out children. No parents. No parental guidance. And then the cycle continues again. Right? When me and somebody get away, why we have to kill them for a contract or kill them for a corner or a block, boy? Why we just can't sit down and reason out? All the rest of races just have issues and problems. But they sit down and they reason it out. They don't each other, killing out each other, why? What's going on with we, why? What's going on with we? So it's only when we in bondage, we can come together then. So it's only when it was slavery days, we used to sit down and we used to say, well, boy, like the master day, and we used to be with yourself. Look, sometimes when you lock up and you're in the jail, you and your enemy in the same cell, you and your rival in the same cell, and everybody is a cool scene. So it's only the man with the big stick we afraid then. So it's when we under bondage, we can live together then. We can live good then. We can live in harmony under bondage only then. Slavery or in jail. What I'm saying, like, we stop killing out each other and parents, and play all the role now, boy. Parents, so let's see, you don't live in that crime hotspot already. Right? You see, what's selling for Christmas, the number one selling toy for Christmas was that BB gun. Everybody want to buy a BB gun for their child. Look, the other races, they're buying books, they're buying puzzles, they're buying educational toys. Right? We want to give each other a BB gun. And some of we inside full of each other bookless. Each other going to school with bust up shoes. But we want to buy a BB gun for $300 and $400. Right? What I tell you, take stock of what's going on. We just killing out and creating fatherless, motherless children. Right? Let me stop that now, let me sit down and reason out. Somebody be a bigger man and say, here what's going on. Let me sit down and talk it out. It don't have the result to violence right through, boy. Because at the end of the day, who winning? Watch all these sides were involved in this shooting at each other and shooting, killing out each other. Nobody winning. All sides losing people. The only people winning, the funeral home, they don't get any money. The lawyer, the bailer, right? And who printing jersey for funeral? Is them making the money? Well, I'm saying everybody doing business. Let me do some kind of business now, boy. Let me come together and do some kind of business, boy. Why we have to be killing out each other, boy? Man, killing people like dog over there, boy. Or sit down and think about what I'm saying here now,